Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It is now time for the sprint race for IFMC GP2 and the second of three action races for today. If you didn't see what happened yesterday in the feature race, it was quite a very exciting race, it must be said, and obviously the best race of the season so far, despite only having 3 races. In the end, though, it was George Russell who took his first ever IFMC GP2 victory, along with Red Bull Academy's first ever victory as well, with Lando Norris second and Nato in third place. Lightbase Sony Racing taking a little bit of a chunk out of Red Bull Academy's lead in the team's championship. Obviously, of course, the top 8 get reversed, and as you can see, it's the Midlands racing car of Luca Ghiotto who will start on pole position for this race. So, looking forward to that one as well. And Mick Schumacher looking to see if he can try and get Ecademy's first victory since Hungary of last season, which was also, I believe, a sprint race when they had Nicholas Latifi. For the first weekend. So, if you just saw that there, I just had to get the music up there, but anyway, the grid music for this anyway. So as you can see, we've got 20 laps of action here in Barcelona. So before we start then guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the sprint race here in Barcelona. Here we go then. So, on pole position, it is Luca Ghiotto with Mick Schumacher in second. Nobuharu and Matsushita lines up in third with Jolyon in fourth position. Sergey Sirotkin starts fifth. Alongside him, Nato in sixth. Lando Norris starts in seventh with yesterday's winner George Russell in eighth. Lance Stroll will start ninth. Alongside him, Mitch Evans in 10th. Joel Eriksson starts 11th in the Lopez Racing Development car. Alongside him is Lynn in the Macamo Motorsport car. Dan Ticktum starts 13th. Alongside him is Luca in the VorteX Racing car. Pierre Gasly, after struggling with tyres due to a loose wheel, which cost him the victory, starts 15th, and Sean Ghiotto is in 16th. Sasha Fennestrad 17th, Santiago Uicia in 18th. Louis Razio is 19th, with Nyck de Vries in 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Yuri Vick and Felix Rosenqvist after pulling off to the side at the end of lap 2. And that is the grid for the sprint race here in Barcelona. So there is the grid then guys for the sprint race. And the weather, has the weather changed? No, it hasn't. It is bright and sunny yet again for the sprint race. So leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to the sprint race. So here we are then on the grid. It's Ghiotto on the left, Schumacher on the right. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the sprint race here in Catalunya then. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the sprint race, and it seems to be a good start from the front too, but it looks like Schumacher's got the jump on Ghiotto in towards the first corner. Schumacher's had a fantastic start. He gets the jump on Ghiotto. Ghiotto looks like he's been mugged by Matsushita. Matsushita looking to the inside, and Mick Schumacher's head down towards turn 1. Will Matsushita get the lead, head down towards turn 1, and he does. Matsushita leads the sprint race here in Barcelona. It's not been a good start from Ghiotto. He's down to 4th. It could be 5th because Palmer's still alongside him. As we go down through turn 3 now then, and Palmer takes the place. Palmer up into 4th place. Nato's had a good start from 6th. He's up to 3rd. And now challenging Schumacher for 2nd. As Matsushita defends from Schumacher. As back down the inside goes Luca Ghiotto. Trying to retake 4th from Jolyon Palmer as they go down through turn 4 and up towards turn 5, side by side to go. Teammate Sirotkin looking on to see if he can pounce on any opportunity as they come out of turn 5 now and turn towards turn 6 on the track. Looks like Ghiotto might have the edge, but Palmer's still sticking with him through towards turn 6 and 7. As Ghiotto got the edge going up towards turn 8, they're still side by side, but Ghiotto has the edge and Ghiotto gets up into 4th place, but now the top 3 have pulled a bit of a gap as now Nato in the slipstream and Mick Schumacher. Down the inside goes the Frenchman. Will Nato grab 2nd from the teenage German? And he does. Nato up into 2nd place. Through goes Nato in the Lightbase Sony racing car, and now he'll try and attack Nobuharu and Matsushita for the lead of the race if he can, as they go out of the right-hander now then and down through the final 2 corners of the track now then, as we have 20 laps here in this sprint race. So at the end of lap 1 of 20 here in this sprint race, it's Matsushita who leads, Nato in 2nd, Schumacher 3rd, Ghiotto 4th, Sirotkin who's up to 5th, passing Palmer. Palmer running out the top 6, but Palmer trying to find a way back past on Sirotkin now then. Nato getting closer to Matsushita in front now as they go side by side down towards turn 1, and look at Russell side by side with Evans as they go down towards turn 1. Will Palmer get the place of Sirotkin? He can. Palmer up to 5th, and Russell takes 7th from Evans up to 7th place. Goes George Russell as they go through the right-hander now then. Everybody trying to make their way through. Gasly's not gained too many places at the start. Rosenqvist has gained 3 places at the moment, as there's a bit of a battle at the back at the moment. As meantime, Matsushita still leading the race at the moment. Meantime, Parma now back on the prowl of Luca Ghiotto for P4. Sirotkin and Russell fancying their chances as well. Sirotkin going defensive because he can feel the pressure of George Russell right behind him as they go down the hill towards turn 6 and 7 on the track now then. As they go down through these corners now then. Schumacher losing a bit of time now to Nato, but still has a comfortable gap in front of young Italian Luca Ghiotto as they go through the right-hander now, then down towards the back straight now, then towards the left-hander we go. And Matsushita currently leading the race at this stage now then, as Norman Nato goes through the right-hander now then on the track. And Nato unable to get hold of Matsushita at this point. It even looks like Schumacher's closing back in now to the young Frenchman. And Schumacher looking to try and grab back second place if he can. Meantime, Palmer has Russell takes 6th from Sirotkin up to 6th place. Goes George Russell passing to Sirotkin now then. As Palmer now in the slipstream of Ghiotto heading down the pit straight. Matsushita sets the fastest lap. So far he holds on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. Palmer and Ghiotto go side by side down towards the first few corners. Will Palmer get the place? And he can. Palmer up to 4th place, getting the move done on Luca Ghiotto as they now go around these sections of corners now then on the track. And now Russell in the prow of Luca Ghiotto now then. And meantime, Evans under pressure from Alex Lynn's Macamo car as they head through towards the right hand of Lynn. Grab the place of Mitch Evans. Down the inside he goes. Has Lynn got the place of Mitch Evans? Side by side they go through the right hander. And Lynn has the edge. Lynn up into 8th place there, getting the move done on Mitch Evans. As meantime, Palmer starting to defend from Ghiotto because Ghiotto still keeping up with him as all 3 of them are starting to close up on Mick Schumacher in front for 3rd place. And even Schumacher starting to close back in as mentioned onto Norman Nato for 2nd place. So we could have an almighty scrap for 2nd place between all 5 of these guys. Nato, Schumacher, Palmer, Ghiotto and Russell. And maybe even Sirotkin as well, because he's still got a bit of a gap. As meantime, Lynn going defensive. Evans trying to find a way back through, but Lynn having none of it. Lynn keeping hold of 8th place for the time being. As side by side go Gasly and Stroll as they battle for 13th place. Side by side they go. Gasly trying to hang in around the outside of the young Canadian. Through the right hander we go. Gasly trying to make his way up through the field after only starting in 15th place after a disastrous feature race yesterday. Side by side they still go. Gasly still having the edge on him there as Russell takes the fastest lap away from Matsushita there briefly as Gasly moves up to 13th and now to Vries on the inside of Stroll. As meantime down the inside goes Ghiotto again on Palmer as they go side by side towards turn 1 and Ghiotto retakes 4th. Back up to 4th place goes Luca Ghiotto in the East Midlands racing car, and now Russell all over the backside of Palmer and trying to grab 5th from his fellow compatriot now that as he head down towards turn 4 on the track and he gets into the switching. Palmer goes defensive as now Russell flicks to the inside, nearly close to contact. Luckily Palmer saw him there as they go through the right hand and now they side by side go Russell and Palmer to head down towards turn 5. Palmer just has the edge and keeps on the 5th place for the moment at least as Evans retakes 8th from Lane, so back up to 8th place goes Mitch Evans in the VorteX racing car. As meantime Gasly fending off at the moment. De Vries has taken 14th from his teammate, so he's up to 14th place, and Yoa has taken a place from Stroll as well, so Yoa moves up into 15th place. So that's that then at this stage. As meantime Matsushita continuing to build a gap out in front at this stage of the race. Meantime Palmer back down the inside of Ghiotto. He hasn't given up on him yet. Palmer side by side with Luca Ghiotto as out goes Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is out of the race. What's happened to Stroll? Let's find out where he is on the track. He's gone backwards and it seems that we haven't caught on to him, so we'll get from last place and try and get onto Stroll if we can. But Lance Stroll is out of the sprint race here in Barcelona, and I'll be very interested to see how that one happened. Whereabouts is he on the track? And I think we missed him. So for whatever reason, it looked like a mechanical problem for Lance Stroll, as Lance Stroll is out of the sprint race and we're down to 21 runners as a result. So out of the race goes Lance Stroll, and well, that's the end of his race. In the meantime, back to this battle for 4th place between Palmer and Ghiotto. Ghiotto still sticking with Palmer at this stage now. Then as they go side by side through towards the second last corner, Russell looking for any opportunity to pounce upon at this stage as all 3 of them are trying to close up onto 3rd place man. Mick Schumacher and Palmer retakes 4th. Palmer back up to 4th, but Ghiotto not giving up an inch there. Ghiotto trying to get back down the inside in towards turn 1. Will Ghiotto retake the place? And now Russell trying to make it 3 wide. He looks like he's going side by side with Ghiotto. Ghiotto covers him off as they go side by side down towards turn 1. will Ghiotto try and reclaim 4th again for Palmer, and he does. Ghiotto back up to 4th place, and now Sirotkin fancies his chances in this battle as Lynn, who has repassed Evans, and even Norris is overtaking him as well. He's trying to close up as well. As they now go down towards turn 4, as now back down the inside again goes Jolyon Palmer on Luca Ghiotto, side by side to go through towards the right hand, and now then Sirotkin again looking for any opportunity, same as George Russell behind at this stage. All this is allowing Schumacher to get away at this stage now then, as they go through the left hand, side by side to go down towards turn 6 and 7 on the track. We go Palmer and Ghiotto again going side by side through the left and right hander. Will Palmer have the edge this time? And he does. Palmer gets back up into 4th place, and now they've got a huge trend of cars as Lynn, Norris, Evans, Ghiotto and Ticktum. Well, not Ticktum, but Ghiotto is now on this trend of cars as Lynn looks to the inside of Sirotkin if he can. Palmer goes offensive. Lynn down the inside of Sirotkin. Will he grab the place? And he does. Lynn up to 7th place, gets the move done on Sergey Sirotkin, and now Sirotkin's in the clutches of Lando and Norris, and Ghiotto takes 10th from Evans up to 10th place. Goes Sean Ghiotto, and now he's in the clutches of Dan Ticktum, and even Pierre Gasly and Nyck the Vries start to close up as well. So this is turning into an almighty scrap. As meantime, now they're coming out the final corner. Looks like Ghiotto's lost a little bit of time to Palmer. Will Russell take advantage as he tries to get into the slipstream of the Italian? Now they're down the pit straight. He looks to the inside. Will he get the move done on Luca Ghiotto? Side by side go Russell and Ghiotto as they head down towards turn 1. Will Russell get the place? And he can. Up to 5th place goes George Russell in the Red Bull Academy car. He gets the move done. As meantime, Sirotkin fending off from Norris and Ghiotto at this stage now then, as I go up towards the right hand. Schumacher still not close enough to Nato, but still trying his best to close in. As now Russell all over the backside of Palmer. As meantime, down the inside goes Lando Norris on Sergey Sirotkin now then. Has he got the place off the Russian now then? As he head down towards the left hander. Sirotkin still sticking with him at this stage as they go side by side through turn 5, heading down the hill towards the left hander now then. Has Norris got the edge? And he has. Lando Norris up into 8th place. He gets the move done on Sergey Sirotkin, and now Sirotkin's in the clutches of Sean Ghiotto's Holy Trinity racing car, while his teammate is out in the lead. Nobuharu Matsushita currently leading the race in the Holy Trinity racing car in front of Nato and Schumacher's. Meantime, Russell looks to the outside of Palmer. Palmer going defensive. Palmer keeping on the 4th place from his fellow compatriot at this stage. As down the inside goes Ghiotto on Sirotkin. Ghiotto takes 9th from Sirotkin, and up into P9 goes the young Indonesian. Sean Ghiotto up into 9th place now then at this stage. And now Russell all over the backside of Palmer again as he tries to grab 4th place from the Willows Grand Prix car out of the final corner, and onto the pit straight we go. Will Russell get the place off Palmer as they head down the pit straight down towards turn 1 of the track? He tucks up into his slipstream. He looks to the inside. Will Russell get the move done on his former teammate Jolyon Palmer as they go down towards turn 1? Has he got the place? And yes, he has. George Russell up into 1st place there then. Looks like there's a bit of tyre smoke down towards turn 1. I wonder that's where Lance Stroll pulled up a little bit earlier on in the race. So that's that really is. And now go up towards the right-hander as Russell now up to 4th place, getting the move done on Palmer. Now Ghiotto and Lynn fancy their chances. As meantime, Evans up in still fending off from Ticktum and Gasly, who all over his backside at this stage as they go down towards the left-hander. So that's that at the moment now then, as we look at Matsushita, who now approaches the quick right-hander through turn 8 now then, as he still continues to lead the race at the moment in the Holy Trinity racing car, as Nato trying everything he can to reel him in, but so far just hasn't got the pace of the young Japanese driver. As meantime, Palmer looking like he's starting to drop back a bit now from Russell, as Russell looks to try and get onto the podium if he can. But having saying that, it looked like Palmer went a little bit later on the brakes, has now caught back up to Russell's slipstream, as now they go through the right hand. And now then Ghiotto's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Alex Lynn at this stage as they now go through the second to last corner. Will Palmer try and get a run on Russell again down the pit straight now? There's Matsushita's on lap 8 of 20, so 13 laps to go for race leader Nobuharu Matsushita as we now head down the pit straight now then. Will Palmer get the move done this time around now? Then he tries to tuck into his slipstream, but he's not close enough to make the move stick at the present moment. As meantime, Ticktum, as it's 3 wide, going down the pit straight now, then it's 3 wide, so close to contact between all of them there, and well, brilliant drive from all of them. Ticktum 11th, Gasly up to 12th, De Vries 13th, and Evans 14th. That was some close stuff down the pit straight there then. And luckily, none of them came to blows down the pit straight. So good driving from all 4 of them there then. As meantime, we head down towards the right-hander as Gasly goes defensive from the pressure of De Vries behind as Gasly tries to reel in Ticktum for P11 in this race. As Sirotkin closes back in now to Ghiotto to try and retake 9th from the Indonesian if he can. As we now go through the left and right-hander on the track now. They look at Palmer now, back on the prow of George Russell for P4. He's not giving up on the Red Bull Academy driver now. There's his head down the back straight towards left-hander. Will Palmer try and get the move done on George Russell now? Then will he try and dive it down the inside? No, thinks better of it. Russell goes defensive and keeps hold of Palmer for the time being. Now then as they head up towards the final 3 corners on the track now then. Around the right-hander we go and out of the corner as they now head down towards the final 2 corners on the track then. And now up towards the final corner then. They go. Looks like Palmer's actually now may have lost a little bit of time to Russell. Having said that, the pair of them are closing up to 3rd place man Mick Schumacher. So we might have a fight for the final podium spot in this race now then. As Palmer now got the slipstream of Russell. It doesn't look like again he's close enough to them at this stage. Sirotkin not close enough to pile the pressure on Ghiotto. As meantime, Gasly not close enough to tick him. As meantime, Evans having to fend off from Joel Eriksson. Eriksson looking to the inside of Evans. Will Eriksson get the move done? And he does. Up to 14th place goes Joel Eriksson in the Lopez Racing development car. So that's that really. As far as they're concerned, Palmer unable to get the move done, and it looks like Russell may now start to pull a bit of a gap, but Palmer could take advantage if Schumacher holds up Russell a little bit as they battle for this final podium place, as they now go around the left-hander. Russell doing everything he can to get on the podium and increase his lead in the Drivers' Championship as they go through this left and right complex now then. Through the right-hander we go. Russell now right onto the toe of Mick Schumacher now. Palmer looking at any opportunity to pounce upon if he can. Heading down the back straight, Schumacher going defensive. Will Russell try and dive it down the inside? No, Schumacher keeps hold of 3rd place at the moment as Lynn and Norris fight it out for P7 at this stage as Ticktum goes defensive on Gasly. How's Rosenqvist doing? Well, he's fighting with Evans now for 15th as Rosenqvist tries to make his way through the field after retiring earlier on yesterday in the feature race and costing him of a chance of his first IFMC GP2 victory as a result, and the first Red Bull Academy victory going to George Russell yesterday as a result. As they go through the final few corners on the track, Matsushita looking to become the 4th different winner if he can, as now Russell looking to the inside of Mick Schumacher. Will Russell get the podium off Mick Schumacher? His head down towards turn 1, down the inside, and he does. Russell up into 3rd place, gets the move done on Schumacher, and now 3rd place belongs to George Russell, and now Palmer finds himself on the backside of Mick Schumacher as they go through the right-hander now then. As meantime, Norris is taking 7th from Lynn at the same corner, so up to 7th place goes Lando Norris, but now his fellow compatriot Alex Lynn going back down the inside of him if he can, unable to do so, and Norris keeps hold of 7th from Alex Lynn as a result, as they now go down through this left-hander. Out of the corner we go, heading down towards turn 6 and 7 on the track we will go, and so now flicking the car in through the left and right-hander now then, as we will now approach the quick right-hander of turn 8, heading out of the corner, heading down towards the left-hander on the track. As now Palmer now then looks to the inside of Schumacher, but again Schumacher covers him off as they both now lose time to George Russell, who's trying to close up onto Norman Nato in front for P2, as now Ghiotto has now got caught in this battle for P4, and maybe even Norris and Lynn could fancy their chances as well. As meantime Gasly has lost a place to Vries, so Vries up to 12th place with him being held up too much by Dan Ticktum at this stage. Rosenqvist up to 15th, he gets a move done on Evans, and now Evans' teammate Luca fancies his chances on his New Zealand teammate. As now down the inside goes Palmer on Schumacher, as Russell is now starting to close in on Nato in front. Side by side go Palmer and Schumacher as they fight for 4th place down the inside, and he gets the place. Up into 4th place goes Jolyon Palmer, and now Ghiotto fancies his chances on him for P5 as Norris had to fend off from Lynn there, as Lynn's still sticking with him at the moment in this race. And now Russell getting close to the backside of Nato for P2. Schumacher going defensive on Ghiotto. As now Lynn down the inside of Norris. Down the inside goes Alex Lynn when he grabs 7th place back of his fellow compatriot as they go side by side down towards the left-hander. Lynn still sticking with him as they go around the outside. Ghiotto and Sirotkin looking to pounce if they can as they go out of turn 5 now then. Heading down towards the turn 6 and 7. Lynn still trying to hang in around the outside of Norris if he can, but I don't know if Norris just has the edge. They're still side by side through turn 8, and I think Lynn might have it. No, they're still side by side heading down the straight. As meantime Ghiotto looking to the inside of Mick Schumacher, but Schumacher covers him off, and Schumacher keeps hold of 5th place as it's 3 wide down into there, and that's a brilliant opportunistic move from Sean Ghiotto, who takes both of them at the price of 1. takes 2 for the price of 1, and Ghiotto up into 7th place, gets the move done on the pair though, as they were caught napping by the Indonesian, and that's Sirotkin fancies his chances on both Norris and Lynn as a result. Beautiful move from Ghiotto, taking all the pair of them in towards turn 9. Brilliant stuff as now Ghiotto now looking inside, and Russell side by side with Nato as they go side by side for P2. Will Russell get the place of Norman Nato? And he can. Up into 2nd place goes George Russell, and now up into P2, but does he have the pace perhaps to get Matsushita and make it 2 wins out of 2 here in Barcelona? But Nato still sticking with him. Nato not giving up on George Russell as now he flicks it back down the inside. Will Nato get the place of Russell? No, Russell just has the edge for the time being. Ghiotto down the inside of Schumacher. Will he get the move done on Mick Schumacher? And he can. Ghiotto up into P5 getting the move done as we got to smoke from Nato. Norman Nato's engine has gone bang. Norman Nato, what a shame, he was looking good for a podium, but it's all come down to nothing. Norman Nato is going to be out of the race, and we down to 20 runners. As a result, through goes Palmer to take the final podium place off him as a result. Ghiotto and Schumacher will go through as now flames come out the back of Nato's car. Ghiotto up to 4, Schumacher will get up into 5th place, and it will put Ghiotto now into the points. Or will it? Because there is Lynn down the inside of Ghiotto as he repassed Norris unseen by the cameras, and he takes it. Lynn up to 7th, which will be 6th as soon as he gets by on Nato, who's going to retire his car now then. So Lynn will go up into the points as they now go through in towards the final few corners now then on the track as the flames go up in on the Lightbase Sony racing car. Through goes Lynn up into 6th. Ghiotto should take 7th. Through will go Norris, and through will go Sirotkin. But now will Norris try and grab Ghiotto for P7? He gets back in the slipstream as he looks to the inside. Will he grab 7th back off the Indonesian driver? Is this going to be the move done for Lando Norris to get 7th back of Ghiotto? No, Ghiotto shutting the door on him there as a result. And as everybody's just trying to avoid, and there you go, he has given up on him. Norman Nato is out of the race, and we're down to 20 runners as a result. Race over for the Frenchman, and that is Nato's day done with on the sidelines. And, well, that is the end of Norman Nato's race. As a result, a chance for a podium has gone, and Palmer now resumes that podium, and it puts Lynn now into the points. As now we need to get back to the leaders, and we need to see whether Russell is gaining onto Matsushita on lap 13 of 28 laps to go in this race. Is that enough for Russell to get hold of him? He has got plenty of time, but does he have the pace to overhaul Matsushita, or has Matsushita got something extra in the tank to get hold of at this stage? Meantime, down the inside goes Norris on Ghiotto. Will he get the move done on Ghiotto as they go side by side through towards the right hander? And again, Ghiotto saying no way to that and holds off to 7th place. Sirotkin looking for any opportunity to pounce upon if he can now. Then as he head up towards the second to last corner, and Tickton currently 10th, but could come under pressure for De Vries and Gasly quite soon in this race. As they head down the pit straight now, then as Norris now then looking to the inside of Ghiotto as they head down the pit straight. Will the move be done from Lando Norris down the inside? And he takes it up into 7th place. Goes Lando Norris, and now Ghiotto under pressure from Sergey Sirotkin's East Midlands racing car as they now go through the right hander now then out the corner, heading down towards turn number 4. Will Sirotkin try and dive it down the inside of Ghiotto into this corner? He's going to have a look. Sirotkin down the inside of Ghiotto, but Ghiotto saying none of that. Ghiotto keeping hold of 8th place for the moment. And we need to see, in fact, while I remember what the gap is like between the top 2, and I do believe Russell is starting to close in on race leader Nobuharu Matsushita, looking to make it 2 out of 2 if he can in that car to increase his lead in the Drivers' Championship as they now head down towards the left-hander. Russell trying to pile the pressure on Matsushita as much as possible as they go through the left-hander now then in towards the final 4 corners we go. And Russell doing whatever he can to get hold of Matsushita in this race now then. As they go through the second to last corner, up towards the final corner we will go now then. As they now head down the pit straight, and across the line we go. And what is the gap between the pair of them now then as they go down the pit straight? And the gap between them with 6 laps to go is now, let's have a look, 1.5 seconds. That's what the gap currently stands. We're 6 minutes away from the 2:30 mark. We are 36 minutes away from the Spanish Grand Prix, which sees Sebastian Vettel on pole position. But meantime, Sirotkin down the inside of Ghiotto, and he takes the place off him now. Up into 8th place goes Sergey Sirotkin. He gets the move done, but will Ghiotto try and get back on Sirotkin as a result as they head down towards turn 4 on the track now. There's Sirotkin defending the inside. Ghiotto flicking back down the inside through to turn 4. Sirotkin just able to hang it around the outside. Keep it on 7th, and now has a bit of a gap between himself and Sean Ghiotto as a result. So up into P8 goes Sergey Sirotkin, and now Vries is up into 10th place on team by the cameras, taking the place of Dan Ticktum. Is now trying to grab hold of Sean Ghiotto if he can, but Ghiotto still sticking with Sirotkin's slipstream at this stage as they go through turn 6 and 7 on the track, as they will go through the quick turn 8 now then on the track. And so that's that, but Ghiotto not close enough to make a pass on Sirotkin, as Lynn now starting to close in on Schumacher for P5 in this race now then. And meanwhile, we need to see what the gap is like between the top two as we now go through the final corner, and onto the pitch straight we go. The gap between Matsushita and Russell with 5 laps remaining is now, let's have a look as they go down towards the first few corners on the track. The gap between the top two is now, let's have a look, 1.1 seconds. Russell was taking 4 tenths out of Matsushita's lead. Russell is absolutely flying in 2nd place at the moment. He wants to make it 2 out of 2. And the last person I think that did that, in fact, if my memory serves me correct, was in fact Alex Lynn back in season 1. So I think it's been a while since we've had back-to-back winners in IFMC GP2. Alex Lynn, I believe, was the last one to do it. I could be wrong. There might have been somebody else, but I do believe it was Lynn that was the last one to do it back in San Marino in season 1. In Imola, I should say. Is up into 11th place goes Pierre Gasly. He gets the move done on Ticktum, so up to P11 goes Pierre as he now tries to chase down Vries, Ghiotto and Sirotkin for P10, P9 and P8 respectively. As now Lynn still not close enough to the backside of Schumacher at this stage as they go through turn 6 and 7 on the track. Heading up towards turn 8 now, then flicking the car in. Using a lot of curb on the outside there then. Heading down towards the left-hander on the track, and flicking the car in now then, and so now up towards the final 3 corners on the track we will go, and so that's that really. Is meantime now then Sirotkin so far holding off Ghiotto trying to close back in, but still not close enough to make a pass at this stage. And now look how close Russell has got to Nobuharu Matsushita's Holy Trinity racing cars. They both head down towards turn 1. The gap is now 0.8 seconds. Russell taking another 3 tenths out of Matsushita's lead as we now have 4 laps remaining in this sprint race here in Barcelona. 4 laps to go is all that Matsushita needs to do to hold off Russell to take what will be his 2nd IFMC GP2 victory, I believe, and Holy Trinity Racing's first ever IFMC GP2 victory as well. So now we go towards the left-hander as they head down the hill towards turn 6, 7 and 7 on the track. Through they go then around these corners. Russell doing whatever he can to get hold of Matsushita in this race as they flip the car through the right-hander. Now they're headed down the back straight towards the left-hander on the track. And so now in towards the left-hander we go. Russell doing whatever he can to get the place off Nobuharu Matsushita as they now go through the final few corners on the track, as they'll now go through the final corner and onto the pit straight we go. What's the gap this time around between the pair of them? It doesn't look like Russell's close enough to make a pass on Matsushita. 3 laps remaining then in this race, and the gap between them as they head down towards turn 1 is now, let's have a look as they now head into these corners, 0.5 seconds, so another 3 tenths Russell has took out of him that time around. Lynn and Norris starting to get onto the backside of Schumacher at this stage of the race. Things are starting to calm down just a little bit, but meantime Ticktum having to fend off from Mitch Evans, who's looking to the inside of the young Brit. Side by side they go, and even Rosenqvist is now in that fight. Rosenqvist fancying his chances as they go through towards the first corner, and up into 12th place goes Mitch Evans. He takes the place of Dan Ticktum, and now Ticktum into the clutches of Felix Rosenqvist now then, as his teammate fights it out for the lead with Nobuharu Matsushita in front now then as they go up towards turn 4 now then. Rosenqvist flicks to the inside. Will he get the move done on Ticktum? And yes, he does. Up to 13th goes Felix Rosenqvist, getting the move done on Dan Ticktum as a result. Meantime, back to the battle for the lead between Matsushita and Russell as they now head down at the back straight now. Then again, Russell not close enough to make a pass on Matsushita down the back straight. Maybe waiting for the pit straight if he can, because he is getting closer and closer to the slipstream of the Japanese driver now. Then as they head towards the final 3 corners on the track now then, as we have half an hour to go until the Spanish Grand Prix. And now up towards the final 2 corners. And look at the split stream that Russell's got. Surely he's going to get him on the penultimate lap down the pit straight. Russell now tucked up into Matsushita's slipstream. He looks to the inside. Will he get the job done? Matsushita tried to cover him off, but Russell was already there. Side by side go Russell and Matsushita now. Then it's down towards turn 1. Who's going to get the edge in towards turn 1? Will Russell get the lead side by side? And he does. Russell leads the sprint race here in Barcelona. He takes the lead from Matsushita, who's led it for most of the race. Matsushita just didn't have a response, and on the penultimate lap of the race, Russell takes the lead from Matsushita. He goes defensive just in case Matsushita tries anything. He doesn't, as Sasha Fenestraz is out of the race. What's happened to Fenestraz? Whereabouts is he on the track? Sasha Fenestraz is out of the race, and I think we've missed him again. And in fact, that's 19 cars. Has he made contact with somebody in the race? I think we've missed him. It looks like somebody else is also out of the race as well. No, in fact, I forget that. Nato was out earlier. I think it might have been another mechanical problem from Sasha Fenestraz then. So whatever it was, Fenestraz out of the race, and we're down to 19 runners. But I think he may be classified anyway, because I do believe he has completed 90% of the race distance now then. As now through towards the left-hander. Matsushita's still sticking with Russell. He feels he's still got enough in the tank to try and get him. But you can tell already at this stage, Russell now starting to pull a bit of a gap now on Nobuharu Matsushita. As they now go through the right-hander. Now they will Matsushita try and get into the 16 of Russell if he can. Down towards turn 9. It looks like he's too far back. And it looks like Russell has now started to get away from the Japanese driver. Russell just had so much pace in this race. And he's looking good to make it 2 out of 2. Victories here in Barcelona as he goes round the right-hander now then. So now up towards the last 2 corners then goes George Russell in the Red Bull Academy car. Up towards the final corner we go, and George Russell is about to start his final lap here in Barcelona. What a race it has been, and what a weekend it has been for George Russell. He started in 8th place in this race after taking the victory yesterday due to the reverse grid, and he just carved his way through the field as a result, making overtake after overtake, and eventually onto the penultimate lap he got onto the leader of the majority of the race, Nobuharu Matsushita, and got the lead from him. And since then he hasn't put a foot wrong, and he is looking good to take his 2nd victory of his IFMC GP2 career and become the first back-to-back weekend winner since, I believe, Alex Lynn in Season 1. I could be wrong on that, or it could have been Rio Haryanto back in Season 2. I can't remember. Somebody will probably know in the chat. But anyway, out of the left-hander now then goes George Russell as he heads down towards the quick turn 6 and 7, because at the moment he is looking good to take 2 out of 2 here in Barcelona. Palmer is even now starting to close up onto Matsushita, but I don't think he'll have enough time, and I don't think he's close enough to get the move done on Matsushita, so I think P2 is going to be Nobuharu Matsushita's. It's pretty much his now to lose. As unseen by the camera, Schumacher's down to 7th. So down to 7th place goes Schumacher. While we were looking at the battle for the lead, Schumacher's down to 7th as Norris and Lynn have taken those places. Lynn up to 5th and Norris up into 6th place. So they get all those points. But meantime, here is George Russell coming around the final corner. It's just been an amazing weekend for him. And it is going to be George Russell who wins the sprint race here in Barcelona. Congratulations to him and the Red Bull Academy team. It's 2 out of 2 for the young Brit, and a deserved victory as well. Nobuharu Matsushita finishes in 2nd, Jolyon Palmer 3rd, Luca Ghiotto 4th, Alex Lynn 5th, Lando Norris finishes the final points in 6th, Mick Schumacher 7th, Sergey Sirotkin 8th, Sean Gallal 9th, Nyck de Vries 10th, Pierre 11th, Mitch Evans 12th, Felix Rosenqvist 13th, Dan Ticktum 14th, Luca 15th, Santiago Yurishu is going to cross the line in 16th position, Joel Eriksson 17th, Louis Vazia in 18th, and Yuri Vips, the last of the finishers, in 19th position in the end. So there you have it then, guys. In the end, George Russell makes it 2 out of 2 and a fully deserved victory as well, and as a result increases his lead in the Drivers' Championship as well. A brilliant result from the young Brit. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of the sprint race here in Barcelona. George Russell won the race with Nobuharu Matsushita in 2nd, Jolyon Palmer finished in 3rd, with Luca Ghiotto 4th, Alex Lynn 5th, Lando Norris rounding out the points in 6th, then it's Mick Schumacher 7th, Sergey Sirotkin in 8th, with Sean Galal 9th, Nyck de Vries in 10th, Pierre Gasly 11th, with Mitch Evans 12th, Felix Rosenqvist 13th, with Dan Ticktum in 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, it is Lucas Euro in 15th, Santiago Urishi 16th, Joel Eriksson 17th, Louis Razia in 18th, Yuri Vips 19th, Sasha Fenestraz was classified in 20th position, and the two retirements were Norman Nato and Lance Stroll, and it looked like maybe he beached it into the gravel because it doesn't say mechanical problem for Lance Stroll. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race, who's going away with the bonus point, and it was George Russell with a 1 minute 23.741. So along with the 6 points he got for the victory, he also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was 800s quicker than Nobuharu and Matsushita in the end there then. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for IFMC GP2 this weekend. They'll be back next weekend at Donington Park for the next weekend of their championship. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is the 65-lap Spanish Grand Prix, which sees Sebastian Vettel on pole position with Kimi Raikkonen second and Antonio Giovinazzi as a result of wet weather qualifying that happened yesterday. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, then you can. The podium for IFMC GP2 is coming your way just after this. But until then, I've been JW4. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Enjoy the GP2 podium.